All right, everybody, let's find our seats so we can get ready with our opening song. It's one we're familiar with. I Am a Light. So please stand and let's join while the video's playing.
Come on. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world. I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I live in love every day. I live in love every day. I'm living love every day. Spreading peace along the way. Right time, right place. Living love every day. We are the light. We are the light in this world. In this world. We are the light. We are the light in this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Lovely.
You know, we've had some visitors say that they've actually been to that church and they've seen that group perform live. So it's really neat. We get to use that video on Sunday mornings. Anyways, good morning. Let's go ahead and say good morning to each other. All right, let's get in our last hugs and handshakes and find our seats. Welcome to Unity. I think this morning we're going to try something different. Let's raise the vibration in the room first thing. How about that? We haven't used the gong in a while. Welcome to Unity. If it's your first time visiting here today, we have blue cards out in the lobby. We'd love to get your information, stay in touch, take you out to coffee, get to know you. If you don't drink coffee, well, tea's all right too. We'll accept you. We're here to support you in affirmative prayer. You can ask a prayer partner for support. If you're in the room today, please raise your hand, prayer partners. Prayer partners will be at the Serenity Room after service. So if you need a prayer, they'll be there. Call 1-800-NOW-PRAY. You can add it on speed dial number 1, as Reverend Penny used to say. And we have a prayer box over here by the door, so prayers will be held in consciousness for 30 days. And you can always contact us here at the center. Phone number is 928-526-8893. And I'd like to welcome up Selena for our opening prayer. Selena is our community care director, prayer partner, volunteer lead, friend, our cohort, and much more.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you all. I know we had a very busy weekend last weekend, and so this is our week to kind of exhale, isn't it? So I'm going to put on my glasses so I can see. Let's close our eyes and take a deep breath. Take it in and let it out. Let go of all the busyness that filled your morning and just become present. And take another breath. As we enter into this time of prayer and meditation, we become still and connect with the divine. Today, we are stepping into a new chapter for our community, one of new beginnings and open horizons. For this, we align ourselves with divine wisdom, and we open ourselves to divine guidance. We bring to this an open heart and a curious mind. And as we embark together on new adventures, we give thanks for this community and all the joy that lies ahead. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. So, I guess I needed the other paper too. And I'll put my glasses back on so I can read it. Usually we have some of the things up on the screen, right? So as is recommended practice in life, let's start with gratitudes, prayers, and celebrations. Who would like to share?
Good morning, everybody. I would like to request some prayers being sent. The father of my children, my first husband, was admitted into the hospital yesterday. He is a diabetic and is leaving the hospital with less than what he had. And so he's facing some scary surgery, which could determine whether he's able to work. And so my family's going through a lot of stress right now because he is the breadwinner. So prayers to his name is Justin, and just healing and continue to take care of himself. So thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. We feel that. That's a lot on your family, the worry for your children, for you, right? It causes a lot of anxiety. So I want to just affirm that your family is held in light and that you feel relief through this time. And we want to see the father of your children whole, healthy, and connected to the divine, and that he remembers who he is, and that he has everything that he needs within him to heal on this journey.
I just want to send out gratitude that my oldest daughter is moving to Flagstaff with my grandson.
That is wonderful. We celebrate that with you. Having family close is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Thank you for sharing.
I am very, very grateful that myself, my spouse, and many family members were able to travel to California and have a beautiful, beautiful joining of two souls in marriage that was so wonderful that this beauty happened and everyone got there safe and will be getting home safe. Today and tomorrow are travel days. So I'm so grateful.
Thank you. We celebrate that with you, Kate. A beautiful celebration, right? And we hold that your entire family can travel safely. Anyone else? Oh, a lot of sound. Yes.
She was just so excited to give me this mic. Hi, everyone. Hi, I love all of you. This is my last Sunday. I am officially going back to San Francisco, and there's a lot that I want to say, so
And
I'm not going to say too much.
I want to remind you that God knows the details.
Yeah.
So give us the brief overview.
The brief overview. So a lot happened in the last few weeks. I became unhoused and struggling financially. My goals still stand. My ultimate goals for business and stuff. It's just another detour. So I felt called to go back to San Francisco because that's where I believe there's going to be a lot more resources and just an energy of independence and gaining more inner strength and perspective and reflection. So I'm going there on Wednesday morning. I'll be on a Greyhound on my way there. I was looking at my friend's house, and across the street, I noticed a place that I was always like, oh, that looks religious. I'm going to stay away from there. Turns out it's called Unity of San Francisco, right across the street from my friend's house. So I'm probably going to go check that place out to see what it's like. And I just have a lot of, I've had a lot of moments of humility that were much needed. For me to be able to accept the help that is being offered to me instead of thinking I have to do it all on my own. But yeah, so I'm very hopeful for my time in San Francisco, and I'm definitely going to be coming back. I mean, I love traveling in general, so this Flagstaff will always have a place in my heart, and especially the Unity community. I'm grateful for y'all.
Wonderful. So, we talk about unity, we're all one. Well, there's unity right in front of your door again, right? So you can't escape it. We hold for you that you have safe travels and a magnificent start into something new. You know you're part of the divine, and as long as you connect and you receive your guidance. So keep remembering that. And then we're a phone call away. Gary.
So I am really thrilled for Caden. I've been blessed to have him be in the office. He's got a full-time job waiting for him in San Francisco, far out. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you being in the office. I appreciate all about you, and you keep on putting it out there. And I wish nothing but blessings for you. And thank you for being a blessing in my life.
Thank you, Gary, for mentioning that. Anyone else? Okay, then we are complete. So, I think I'm going to invite our PA up. Oh, no, I'm going to read the principles. So we've changed things up just a tiny bit, so bear with us, right? So, say with me. Thoughts have creative power to determine events and attract experiences. And the short version is, we create with our thoughts. So now we have Sandra, who's going to be our PA and share her inspired moment.
Oh, goodness. Well, welcome, everybody. You know, the week after Penny is leaving, I don't know about you, but my emotional battery is still kind of flashing red. And so when I thought about what I was going to talk about today, I thought, okay, keep it upbeat, keep it inspirational, make them laugh. And so today I'm going to be telling you today is the day 2 years ago that my father died. But I tell you this because it is a story of growth and transformation. You're going to learn a little more about me than you probably wanted, but 2 years ago, I decided after the third failed relationship and realizing I was the common denominator, I decided to seek treatment. And I decided to work on a lot of the traumas that I had experienced as a child. And I walked in with a spreadsheet. These are the questions I want answered. These are the things I'd like to explore. And these are the types of therapies I feel I need. And not only was this happening, I was ending a relationship. I didn't know what I was going to do, but my father had just been put in hospice. And it was a very complicated relationship with my dad because he was never diagnosed, but looking back, my dad was on the spectrum. And my mom used to call him Monk because things just needed to be a certain way all the time. And he would melt down if things were not that way. And they didn't always make sense. Emotions don't normally do. And one of his functionings was very black or white thinking. You couldn't be a Christian and be gay. You couldn't be a Christian and fill in the blank. And he had a very staunch way of defining the rules. And I was always outside of all of those rules. And I was who I am, so I would always question and not understand. And it was of great frustration to him. And I would often, throughout my adolescence, be interrupted to say, you know, it doesn't really matter what you say, because the only thing I can think when you speak is that you're going to be burning in hell one day. And this was a common thing he would say to me all the time. So to say that this was a complicated relationship, that's putting it mild. So when he was put in hospice, I was really struggling. I knew I needed to make an amends with him, both for my own healing journey and for his. I needed to say goodbye. But I also didn't have the words or have the ability to do it. And so I had, what I would say is chicken, but it was a step for me. I recorded and put in a video and said everything I needed to say and sent it to my brother and said, please just show that to Dad. And so I drove to Impatient, and I was having a moment with the universe and my dad and saying goodbye and, you know, just struggling. And then I began to heal because they took that little spreadsheet and they put it down. They said, tell me about your childhood. I don't want to go there, you know, process that. I'm done with that. I need to work on the now. And I began to unfold. And what happened there was the day before he was going, my brother said, you know, it's time. Do you want to say goodbye? And I had had a session that morning, and I was talking about my father because I knew that this day was coming. And someone who had stood up, this was an elderly man. He was roughly the age of my dad, Vietnam veteran. And he said, can I say something? He goes, and it's completely out of line. This is not my business. He said, your dad had nothing but love for you. And I said, that's not how you share love, telling me every day I'm going to hell. He said, in your dad's world, he needed to cling on to that structure. And he truly believed that the only way you were going to find salvation was by fitting in that box. He couldn't see outside the box, but you can. And all of those words, all of that, he went about it wrong, but it was love. And I was able to take something that I had defined my entire life as a victim, as you don't say that to children. You love them, whoever they are. But yet, I was able to find the love in some of the most painful stories I've ever gone through. And so I set up a Zoom call. And my therapist said, "I don't really know about this. We'd like to be there." And I got to say, I may not have been the daughter that you had envisioned that I would be, but you raised an incredible kid. Someone who can think for themselves, someone with morals, someone with a good work ethic, and I owe it all to you, and thank you. And the last memory of my dad is half of his face, because he had lived a long life, a giant smile. And he said, "It doesn't matter what happens from now on, it's going to be okay." And at that moment, my entire life changed, because everything that I was holding on to, every single justified resentment, it was gone. It was replaced with love. And so when I realized that these dates converged and I had signed up to speak, I thought, well, this is what we're all going through. We're all transforming through love. We all can feel it. We feel both the joy and celebration and that hole. But what an amazing place to be here with these people who we can go through this together. So I honor the fact that you are all here. It's tough to be here. Thank you for letting me share. It's been truly an honor. Namaste.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. I surrender to my greatest, highest good. I release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am kinder every moment, every day. I'm more loving every moment, every day. I surrender every moment, every day.
breath and move into meditation. Filling and expanding your lungs and letting it flow out easily and gently. I will surrender. Sometimes when we're going through change, transition, concerns, surrender might be the last thing we want to do. So I want to invite you, as you close your eyes for this moment of meditation, to see if you can surrender just this moment. In this moment, I surrender. I surrender my expectations, my ideas about the way things should and shouldn't be just for this moment. Take a deep breath in and release. I surrender. Will you whisper that with me? I surrender. Take another breath. Let's surrender into the silence as we open ourselves, empty ourselves, and take this moment to just be. In this moment, we know and we affirm that all that we surrender makes its way back to us in one way or another. So breathe into that truth. And let's repeat again, I surrender. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here. And I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm driving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Get ready, my soul. Don't you just love Daniel Nahmad? I love that song. Well, good morning, Flagstaff. I'm Reverend Amanda Sue, and it is an honor to be with you today. Rev Penny asked me to be here as your guest speaker the first Sunday after. So I know it's a really tender time. I just went through a ministerial transition at Unity of Verde Valley in Cottonwood, so I know that it's a tender time. And I so appreciate the wisdom and the insight that was shared this morning and just how welcoming and loving you all have been since the second I walked in the door and getting to be a part of the meditation this morning as well. So thank you so much for having me. And my message today is called Trust the Process, because we're in a bit of a process, aren't we? So I hope you find it supportive as you journey through these changes and what's coming next for this community and for yourselves individually, because it sounds like a few of us here are going through personal transitions as well. So I want to tell you a story. I used to have what's called a black thumb. Now, if you're not familiar, a black thumb is the opposite of a green thumb. So you have a green thumb, every plant that comes into your possession thrives. You have a black thumb, every plant that comes into your possession dies. So I had a black thumb. And every year for Mother's Day, my husband would get me a Mother's Day orchid. And every year by Father's Day, that orchid would be in the trash. Now the thing is, I was not one of those people who would just forget about their plant and not water it. They did not die from neglect. You see, I wanted so badly to be good at this plant thing that I tried everything. If it was a plant that likes high humidity, I live in the desert, I would spritz it with water every day. At the first sign of a struggle, a drooping or wilting leaf, I would move it to a different window. I would try to water it more or water it less. I would repot it and change up the soil. All right, how many of you are good at plants? You know already what I'm doing wrong, right? I'm doing too much. I'm trying to control too much. If I could have jumped in that pot and grown for the plant, I would have done it. Now, I believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Have you heard that before? And what that means to me is that everything that happens in life, even the most mundane, seemingly unimportant, seemingly unspiritual things that go on in life, have rich, deep spiritual lessons and truths for us. So imagine my surprise that what I learned about those plants applied to a whole lot more in my life other than raising plants, right? You see, when it came to plants, I had to learn to trust the process, to allow that unfoldment to take place naturally and not grasp so tightly onto control. Life is an unfoldment. I've heard it say that we are not human beings, we are human becomings. You know, there's this debate that's been around forever about nature versus nurture. You all heard this? Nature versus nurture says, are we born that way, static and can never change it? Or is it what happens to us and how we react to it that shapes our life? And there's been tons of studies, and they found that there's some things that are solidly nature, like our eye color. There are some things that are solidly nurture. And then the vast majority of things are somewhere in between. And so what I love about unity is that third principle, which how perfect that that was the principle we were talking about today, that our thoughts create our reality. Our thoughts shape our experience. What that means is we get to choose. We are human becomings, and we get to choose who we become. Sue Sicking, a Unity minister and author, says the unfoldment of the individual is the purpose of life. And this unfoldment is in divine order. If the purpose of your life, if the purpose of every life is the unfoldment, the growth, the journey, the becoming, you know what that means? It means you can't do it wrong. Just as a tiny seed has within it all of that intelligence and knowledge that it needs to grow into a huge plant, so too do you have everything already inside you that you need for your growth and your unfoldment. And that too happens in divine order. You know, there was a time in my life where I felt like I had missed my exit. You know? And there's no turning around. There's no going back. There's no way to pick it back up and get back on the right track. Anyone ever feel that way? And during that time in my life, I really struggled with this idea that I had made some fundamental mistake that would forever alter the course of my life, and it was just not going to go where I wanted it to go. Anyone have an existential crisis in your 20s, or was it just me? Yeah, okay. During that time, I found a lot of solace in the words of Eric Butterworth. You all familiar with Eric Butterworth? Yes, beloved Unity minister and New York Times bestselling author. He said, you can never make a wrong choice or a wrong decision. For any choice you make will provide the circumstances necessary for you to transcend the level of consciousness from which the choice was made. I want to read that again. You can never make a wrong choice or a wrong decision. Do you want to just take a breath and sigh hearing that? You can never make a wrong choice or a wrong decision, because whatever choice you make is going to lead to that next piece of growth, that next unfoldment. The decision we heard this morning, right, about deciding I'm going to send a video, led to the next step, and then the next step that then led to the Zoom call that then led to healing. You can never make a wrong choice or a wrong decision. No matter what choice you make, Spirit uses it for good and for your unfoldment and your growth. Another way to say this, one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou, forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before you learned it. Or in shorter words, trust the process. Trust the process, because it's happening within you in each and every moment. So whether it's making a comment you wish you hadn't made, passing up an opportunity that you really regret, or sending yet another orchid to an untimely grave. These are not deviations in your path. These are part of your unfoldment, and it unfolds in divine order. That as we unfold and as our consciousness grows, as we heal, as we go back into our past and uproot that stuff that led us to make that decision, we become a better and brighter or more brilliant, shining light of the divine within us. Not in spite of, but because of the choices that we've made. As we grow and unfold, we might decide to make amends. We might decide to be aware of new opportunities all around us. We might decide to be intentional about what it is that we want so we don't miss that opportunity like we did last time. We might decide to stop changing the potting soil and the watering schedule and the fertilizer and just to relax, for goodness sake, and let the plant be. When we can look at our life this way, as the purpose of our life is unfoldment, and that happens in divine order, you cannot make a mistake, you cannot make a wrong choice. If you can see your life in that way, there's a lot of forgiveness for ourselves, isn't there? There is forgiveness, and we are no longer paralyzed by shame or guilt. We can move forward because we are trusting the process taking place within us. All right, so back to plants for a second. Has anybody tried to raise succulents? You know, like succulents? Yeah, like cactus.
My last name is Lily.
Oh!
Horticulture and other things.
I wrote this talk for you. You didn't know it. I didn't know it, but now we know. I love that. So succulents, I've heard, are supposed to be easy. That was not my experience. And let me tell you, you know how disheartening it is to live in Phoenix, which is a desert, and to be struggling so much to be raising this cactus inside my home, and then I step out into my backyard, and out there in the wild, with no one to care for it, all of these cacti are thriving. It's very disheartening. But here's my theory. The reason houseplants are so much harder to take care of, and yet they thrive in the wild, is because when you put them in a pot, you disconnect them from the whole. So let me tell you another story for my horticulture friend, since I wrote this talk for him. So I'm from Phoenix. We have a lot of cactus, right? You all know saguaros, the big, tall, the iconic cactus with the arms, right? Do you know how a new saguaro comes to be? Oh, good, let me tell you. Okay, so in May every year, saguaros get these white flowers all along the rim. We call it crowning. So they get these white flowers that open up. They're called saguaro blossoms. It's actually our state flower. Cactus blossoms, yes. So saguaro blossoms are these white, waxy flowers that the saguaro blooms, and they need to be pollinated. But saguaro blossoms are not pollinated by hummingbirds or bees. Saguaro blossoms are pollinated by bats. It is a bat that is 3 inches long and then has a 3-inch long nose. And it actually travels up from Sonora, Mexico every year following the blooming of the saguaro blossoms. So if the migration patterns work out well and the saguaros start blooming at the right time, these bats will come up and eventually make it to Phoenix and pollinate our saguaro blossoms. So then the flower closes up and it becomes a red fruit. And then that fruit will actually burst open and it looks like a red flower. Have you ever seen this before on the saguaros? They look like red flowers. That's actually the fruit. And in that fruit are hundreds of thousands of tiny little black seeds. Now here's what has to happen to those seeds. If a javelina, those are our pigs, you know, the wild boars. If a javelina eats the seed, no new saguaro. They digest the whole thing. If a coyote eats the seed, no new saguaro. If a falcon eats the seed, no new saguaro. If a cactus wren, Arizona's state bird, eats one of those seeds, they digest the thick outer husk that is around that seed, leaving the seed intact when they pass it, and that is the only way that that seed can turn into a new saguaro. Okay, but the story's not over yet. The cactus wren not only has to eat it, when they pass it, they should ideally be sitting in a Palo Verde tree, because saguaros need a lot of shade in their first few years of life. It takes 5 years for them to grow their first inch. And so they need to be shaded, ideally by a Palo Verde, during those 5 years, and that's still not the end of the story. Within a few days of that seed hitting the ground, we need the monsoon rains. All of these tiny little things that have to go perfectly for a new saguaro. And yet, if you've been south of Sunset Point lately and you look out around, what are there? Tons of new saguaros. Do you think the saguaros have any idea how many tiny little things are lining up so perfectly for their growth and unfoldment? Do you have any idea how many tiny little things are lining up perfectly for your growth and unfoldment? Now, saguaros take so long to grow that when all of those conditions are right, we have this season where we have all of these new saguaros, but we don't know about it until 40 years later. Because it takes that long for them to grow 5 feet tall so we can look out and say, hey, there's a bunch of new saguaros. So even when things line up perfectly, sometimes you don't even know about it until much later. Isn't that a fun story? So trusting Spirit, trusting this flow of life, trusting our connection to the bigger whole allows life to unfold more naturally and easily. It not only invites divine wisdom and trust and faith into our own being, but it's also been shown to psychologically buffer us against depression by seeing ourselves as part of this bigger story. And seeing ourselves not as separate, but as part of and connected to all of life. Eric Butterworth says, "You are a child of the universe. You do not walk your path of life alone. The whole universe walks with you. It is dynamically involved in you. Its dynamic flow is ever expressing as you." I believe that this is true whether we accept it or not, whether we believe it or not. You see, trusting the process does nothing for God. Spirit is working within us every moment of every day. Trusting the process is about you getting out of the way and allowing it to unfold. Trusting the process is what allows you in times of transition and change and newness and uncertainty to have peace in that change, because you are trusting in the process even if you can't see it. Because like the saguaro, we have no idea. We have no idea all those things that are lining up perfectly. Our job, like Faith Rivera said, is to surrender. In my most recent time of deep grief, I know some of you are going through grief, and grief is not just about physical loss, right? But even the loss of a beloved minister or the loss of a community and moving. The last time I went through a period of significant grief, after I got through that fog, of grief where you feel like you're underwater, I had a lot of trouble sleeping. And if you've ever had trouble sleeping, you ever lay there and you just get more and more frustrated as time goes on because you know what time you have to wake up in the morning, and you're kind of like every time you check to see what time it is, it's less and less hours of sleep you're going to get. Yeah, the worst, right? So one day I decided, you know what? If I'm not going to be able to sleep, I might as well get up and use this time to connect with Spirit in some way. And so if I couldn't fall asleep right away and I felt that cycle starting, I'd get up and I'd go to my office and I'd light a candle and I'd kneel in front of it and I would sit in prayer. You see, I could have laid there every night frustrated about not being able to fall asleep. But what is so interesting is while I never would have intentionally thought to lose hours and hours of sleep sitting on the floor of my office in front of a candle, wouldn't you know that in those quiet morning hours, when no one in the house is awake and the world expects absolutely nothing of me, those were the moments I absolutely needed to heal. Trust the process. Spirit is speaking to you every minute of every day if we choose to listen and if we choose to trust it. Are you all familiar with Father Richard Rohr? He's a Franciscan friar, but we've kind of adopted him in Unity. His teachings are very near to ours. He says this: at the core of Jesus' life and message was this good news. The Spirit of God, the Spirit of aliveness, the wind, breath, fire, cloud, water, wine, dove Spirit who filled Jesus is on the move in our world. And that gives us a choice. Do we dig in our heels, clench our fists, and live for our own agenda? Or do we let go, let be, and let come, and so be taken up into the Spirit's movement? Trusting the process is about acknowledging, affirming, and allowing the Spirit of the divine that is already within you and is doing a work in you. It's about trusting the words of Unity Minister Sue Sicking that the purpose of our life is our unfoldment of more and more of that divine light within us. It's not about doing anything for God. It's about doing something for ourselves, being able to see through changes and transitions and challenges with ease, with grace, with faith, with peace, because we know that we are part of that oneness. And as we surrender into it, our life gets easier. We'll still have challenges, we'll still have grief to go through, but we will find new insights that we could have never imagined possible if we just trust the process. So I invite you over the next few weeks, as you're moving through this journey and this transition, either personally or collectively, to notice and reflect for yourself, where am I clenching my fists? Where am I digging in my heels? And where am I ready to let go and let be and trust the process? Blessings to each and every one of you. Namaste.
All right, it's Celebration Sunday, and I forgot the clicker. We're trusting the process. So I'm going to tell you about a little adventure I had this week. I went to go see the new Superman movie. You know, a lot of fun, very Christopher Reeves vibes from the new Superman. So if you love the old movies, I'd recommend this one. So I'm going up to get my ticket, and I say, I'll take one child ticket for Superman. And there, guy's looking at me like, child ticket? What are you doing? So of course, I'm a child of God. I need a child ticket. Sir, we that's not our policy. We can't give you a ticket. So I tried. All right. July birthdays. We got any July birthdays in the room? Yeah? I got one over here. My birthday's the 24th. Gary's got one. Sandra. Sandra's 28th. Okay. Carolyn. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Carolyn's on the 27th. So, anyways, even though we got some people in the room, we got people online, let's just sing happy birthday for everybody. And remember, we're going to say, dear everyone. So let's join me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everyone. Happy birthday to you. Woohoo! I want to say thanks to all of our volunteers. If you volunteer in any capacity, raise your hand, please. Look at that, half the room volunteers. And that's a round of applause. That's a good reflection on our community because by the books, if everybody's here, we got 53 people and at least 25 volunteer. And that is fantastic for a community of our size. So you guys are awesome, and I appreciate that all of you volunteer in different capacities, and you help make Unity of Flagstaff function. This month's calendar sponsors are the Laffertys. Laffertys have already moved, but they're joining us on live stream. So, Laura, I have this lovely picture you contributed to our calendar, and I encourage folks to go check it out on the board after service. All right, let's prepare for our celebration of abundance. If my basket bringers will get queued up here. And I'll be our board basket blesser today. Our board consciousness is growth. We give our time, talent, and tithes to grow Unity of Flagstaff. And what I want to show you guys is, remember I showed you this picture last week of our bank balance, and this is just a visual of our deficit. Well, check this out. It's real subtle, okay? Focus, focus, boom. And I want to explain, this is awesome because we had a payroll, we had some utilities and other bills come out, and look at that. You guys, your community, helped keep us on track. So awesome. Let's do a round of applause for that. Thank you. So we're going to keep an eye on this, and certainly I'll update it every celebration Sunday. But let me flip back and forth real quick. I mean, look at that. You can't see the difference, and you guys are awesome because you help sustain us. So, anyways, our basket blessers. Let's say this before we go out. We release our limitation and give from abundance. We are abundant. Thank you, Spirit. All right, folks, go forth. I'm going to remind folks of ways to give. You know how to give. Checks and cash, we'll take them. Zelle, fee-free, we'll take it. unityoflagstaff1@gmail.com. You can mail your gifts to P.O. Box 1740, Flagstaff, Arizona, 86002. And we can always talk about legacy giving outside of service. It's my favorite topic. Come find me. And thank you for supporting our community. Flagstaff Family Food Center tomorrow, Monday, July 14th, 3 to 6 p.m., we would like 8 volunteers. We currently have 4. Please sign up with Selena, and let's get a full crowd over there. Journal Magic. Details are in the newsletter. We need some folks to sign up, so check in with Sue Mine for that. Highway cleanup. I know the state's coming up fast. July 19th, 8 a.m. We're starting early before it gets too hot. We need more volunteers. Please sign up. We'd love if you joined us last time to join us again. If you can't make it, let's try and find somebody that can join us and let Selena know. Our wish list. We got items out in the foyer. Check it out. Our needs board. We finally have things on the needs board. But if you're going to help out with the needs board, check in with us before you just randomly bring us donations or just put them in random cabinets around here. We appreciate the support, but we'd love to know what's coming in. So check out the needs board. Let me know. All right, let's bring forward the baskets. And let's all say together, thank you for this bounty, and thank you for this community, and thank you for the good we do and will do. We are joy-filled, and so it is. All right, and I'd like to bring Amanda back up, and she's going to lead us in the prayer of protection. You're off.
Okay. All right. Do we stand for the prayer of protection? All right. Let's stand and say our prayer for protection. Together. The light of God surrounds us. Claim the light. The love of God enfolds us. Claim the love. The power of God protects us. Claim the power. The presence of God watches over us. Claim the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
All right, we're going to close out with I Am a Light again, so please stay standing. Oop, I got it muted, hang on. No.
In this world, I am a light. I am a light. In this world, in this world, this is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine. I see the joy, I see the joy in this world, in this world. I see the joy, I see the joy in this world, in this world. This is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine. I'm living love every day. I'm living love every day. I'm living love every day. Spreading peace along the way. Right time, right place. Living love every day. We are the light. We are the light in this world. In this world. We are the light. We are the light in this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
All right, make an amazing week, everybody. Go ahead and leave the chairs on the floor, and thank you for being part of Unity today. I'll see if I can get this song to play in the background for us.